Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is the last Saturday of May. Boo if you were enjoying May, but yay because it's June and that means, I don't know, more sunshine, closer to summer. And boo also because it is my last Saturday with you until July, but I'll be back, not too far away. But thank you guys for being here today. I'm Raquel, Divas and Dudes at Home. Hello, thanks for joining us. We have a delicious recipe today. It is one that I brought back from the archives of not too long ago. We made this recipe a couple weeks back, or I don't know, last month maybe. It's all a blur now. It's like recipe after recipe. But it was a good one then. I hope it's a good one now for those of you who have not had it. It is a roasted cauliflower, kale, and brown rice salad. And I think it was part of, I can't remember what series, maybe incorporating more veggies and doing things with grains. So some of the things, kind of like usual, for sake of time, I've done ahead of time, but I'll walk you through it. And then we have a little bit on nutrition, but this recipe is really fantastic. One of the things I love about it, it has a lot of great ingredients, but it's also one that you can enjoy cold or warm. So I did it cold, so the sample you'll have this morning has been kind of marinating, it's been chilled, it's delicious. I had a little sample this morning, it's so good. But there's a lot of components to it, and you all know me, I'm not a fan of salads. I know we need to eat our greens, but just a plain green salad does not excite me. So I like to add a lot of texture, a lot of different flavors. And this one doesn't really have a dressing per se, but it has a little bit of basic kind of like elements that sort of bring it together like a dressing. But it basically has some really good things in it that are good for us nutritionally, but also just taste really good. So we add a couple of things. I'll walk you through the ingredients and what we did, and then I'll put together the final things to bring it together, and then you guys will get to taste it. So in the ingredients, as you see here, this is a nice one too, because it's great for like a party, or if you want to make some meal prep it for the week. It lasts pretty well for the week, but it makes about 11 servings. And we start with brown jasmine rice. So has anybody cooked with this before? Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, you could just use a regular brown rice. I like brown jasmine just because it I don't know, I feel like it cooks up really well. It has a nice kind of like, you can cook it almost like you cook pasta, so you can cook it kind of so it's still a little chewy. And it's got great nutritional value, right? Good fiber, good protein, and it looks a little like this. So doesn't take too long to cook. What I basically did was I gave it a quick rinse. This is a cup of brown jasmine rice that you're going to use. And I'll pass this around in case you guys are curious about that. But you can find this at most grocery stores, pretty inexpensive. But again, you could just use regular brown rice, or if you're not a fan, you could just use regular white rice.
Did you rinse it?
I did rinse it. Yeah, this one was not particularly starchy. Like some other brown rices. That's also why I like it, because sometimes you really have to rinse it until it runs clear, right? And when it cooks up, so basically I rinsed it, I covered it with about 1.5 cups of water. I put in 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and then I covered it with a lid, brought it up to a high heat, and then brought it to a boil, and then let it simmer. Turned it down to pretty low, let it simmer until it basically cooked up nice and fluffy like this. And the oil in there kind of helps the individual grains of rice kind of stay, nice and intact. So it's never really mushy. One of the things people ask me a lot is like, how do you get rice to cook really well? And it depends on the rice, and it also depends on your pot. So you don't want to cook such a small amount like this in a really big pot, because it's not gonna cook well. It's just gonna cook weird, and it's gonna be kind of mushy. You don't want to cook it in a pot that's too small, because also it's gonna be really mushy. So kind of I use sort of maybe a 4-quart. It's kind of a medium-sized pot, and it's just enough space for the rice to slowly expand as it's cooking and absorb all that liquid. Sometimes I leave it with a little bit of the liquid just because I like it a little bit wetter, and as it starts to cool, it'll still continue to absorb and cook, absorb all that water. But the other thing you could do, I just cook this in water. If you wanted to add even more flavor, you could infuse it with like cooking it in vegetable stock if you had some, or chicken stock or whatever, so that'll give it even more flavor. But for today, I just did water. So that is our rice. And then the other thing that I did ahead of time is really kind of the flavor bomb of this salad, which is our roasted cauliflower, because obviously the salad is labeled roasted cauliflower, right? But the way, if you look at it, you're like, that's not cauliflower, Raquel. It looks kind of weird. It's a different color. So what's the magic here? So the magic is actually some very simple spices. And you guys know me, I love to kind of play around with different spices. And so for this, it's kind of a very simple blend that I use a lot on vegetables. And so I used a little bit of turmeric. So that's what's giving it this beautiful yellow color. And then I used a little bit of garlic powder, garam masala, which is a blend of several spices. I'm going to try to read this. It's coriander, cardamom, cinnamon, cumin, black pepper, celery seed, allspice, cloves. Like this is a really nice kind of, just a nice blend of a bunch of different things. So it was a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of garlic, 1 teaspoon of garam masala, and then I believe half a teaspoon of salt and a quarter of black pepper. And then the remaining 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I put that all in a bowl. I rinsed my cauliflower, chopped it up into these smaller pieces, and then just put all the spices on, the oil, salt, and pepper, kind of tossed it in the bowl. And I used just a small little baking sheet, and you can use either parchment paper or foil, and just spread that out. I like to put, as you see here, this is some nice browning, roasting, right? I usually put the kind of the floret side down so we can get a lot of that nice color about midway through. So, the oven should be at 375, and then about 15 minutes through, I kind of take it out, sort of stir it a little bit just so that everything gets nicely roasted, and then bake it pretty much for about 25 minutes total. And when you pull that out and let it cool, it's perfectly cooked. And so again, I did this all chilled, but you could do this as a nice warm salad. This would work really well if you wanted something kind of warm in the winter, right? This would work really well for that. So
That's one.
this is one head of cauliflower. Yeah, kind of like a good medium size, not too large. You know, sometimes you see them and they're like ginormous. This was a nice little average size. So I'm going to add that in, and that smells wonderful. And then the other things we're going to add are basically our greens. So, and then some crunchy things and sweet things. We got a lot of good stuff in this salad. I really love it. A couple of things that I like for crunch, any kind of nut will do. Walnuts are great for what? Do you guys remember? Their brain, right? And they kind of look like a brain, so that's an easy one to remember. So we're just going to use a half a cup of walnuts. I sometimes toast them. You could do that to bring out even more flavor. But for today, I just use them just like this. And I like to chop. You can find them already chopped, right? I'm just going to kind of, just because it's good Zen relaxation for me in the kitchen. It gives me something to do. I'm just going to chop up our walnuts today. But yes, you could use any kind of nut, really. Anything you guys would recommend if you were to change it up? Some of your favorite? Almonds. Yeah, almonds would be a good go-to. Ooh, pecans, yes.
Sunflower seeds.
Yes, I've done it with sunflower seeds before too. Roasted or just the roasted unsalted are really good. Yeah, the pepitas, pumpkin seeds are great. This is probably more than half a cup. I think I got a little generous on there. I eyeballed it a little too much, but that's okay. So I just kind of chop it down so that there's not like super big pieces in there, but this is looking pretty good. Yeah, so kind of the different elements of this salad are like some kind of grain, a bunch of greens, something for crunch, and if you want, something for sweetness. And that could be the dressing that you make, but today we're actually going to use raisins. And one of my favorites are golden raisins. So this is a salad I feel like I've seen, I don't know. I mean, I came up with the recipe, but I feel like I've seen this salad somewhere. Maybe you've seen it at a restaurant or I've had it. I don't know. Okay, so in goes half a cup of that. And actually, just for the heck of it, so I don't waste it, we're going to put the rest in. But the recipe calls for half a cup. More crunch. Okay, and then also half a cup of these golden raisins. These golden raisins are getting pricey, so you could also use regular. I was surprised at how much this little box of raisins was. It was like $4. It wasn't before. Everything is so expensive. Yeah. That's insane because it's the same product. Or if you've noticed, it's the same product except there's less in it now. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm paying more and you're giving me less. That's not mathing. The math isn't mathing there. Okay, so half a cup of that. That is definitely something that I have seen in maybe a lot of Mediterranean style cuisine is a golden raisin with a cauliflower like that. Some of my favorite like Turkish, Israeli kind of recipes have similar things like that, and they'll make like a tahini kind of sauce to go with it. I love all that kind of stuff. It's so good. Okay, and then oh, you know what I forgot to do? Dang it. Okay, we're gonna see how I can do this because I did it backwards. One of the things, Raquel's still recovering. I thought I was gonna be smart to save a bowl, but maybe what I can do, I tell you what, I'm gonna mix this here because one of the things that I want to show you is the green part, right? And so the main base of our salad is kale. And we want to do something to the kale before adding all of this in. So I got a little ahead of myself because I was trying to have a place to put this rice that was already cooked, but that is okay. Okay, we're gonna do this for now. That'll work, and then we'll just add that back in just a second. But what we are going to do, so we have some kale here. Now you will find in the store usually this kind of curly kale. It's pretty common, but there are different kinds. And so you might often also see something that's a little bit darker. The bunches are a little bit, like the leaves are a little bit longer. That's what they call lacinato or dino kale because it's got kind of that rough sort of exterior, kind of like a dinosaur, right? But both of them are delicious. You might also see purple kale every once in a while. That's really delicious. It's similar to this. It just has kind of that nice, beautiful color. But they're all good, and you can cook them pretty much the same. You can either steam them, saute them. I like to use them raw, and you will often hear or see people when they cook kale or when they use kale is they say they want to massage the kale, right, to break it down. I don't often do that, but in this particular recipe, I really like doing it because I use so much kale. And I think it, with the lemon that I'm gonna add to it, it really just absorbs the flavor so well. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just basically take the stems off of all this kale. And I'm actually gonna cut this because we don't need this part. Could you saute this? Probably. If you were some of these bigger stalks, I would probably just peel with the peeler just so that you don't have that too fibrous. But today we're not gonna do that. So we've got quite a bit here. So you guys are gonna have to make some chit chat with me while I go through this. But yeah, basically I just kind of take it from the stem and then just pull down and discard that. But I've rinsed it really well because as you see, it's so curly and sometimes it folds in like that. And so you just want to make sure that you give it a good rinse and there's no dirt in the middle there. So I've rinsed it twice and hopefully have gotten most of the crud out of there. That looks pretty good.
When you say massage the kale, what does that mean? What does that entail?
I know,
What
it
does that
sounds
look
so
like?
crazy. It's like, what? What are you doing? Don't damage the food. Because usually with greens, you don't want to bruise the greens, right, in a salad. But in this, because they're so, like, kale's pretty hearty. If you see, this is not a typical piece of, like, Bib lettuce or whatever. You can really kind of break it down a little bit. So that's what you're essentially doing. You're going to kind of squish it like this and just kind of break it down. And, you know, sometimes I've noticed over the years, just for me in digestion, it's a little easier on my stomach with anything, any kind of raw vegetable, if I kind of break it down in some way, whether it's massaging your kale or lightly steaming or cooking something instead of eating it raw. The only thing that I can really eat raw are carrots. Like, I love eating carrots for the crunch and like having with hummus or whatever, but if I try to eat broccoli or cauliflower, man, I just cannot digest. So be good, be kind to your stomach and your digestion. We need vegetables in our diet, right? But find ways that you can tolerate so that you can continue to enjoy them. I think that's the 2 cents of advice I have for you guys today. What other greens would you guys consider using for this if you didn't if you weren't fans of kale, because I have to say, not a lot of people like kale. Some people are like gung-ho for it, right? It's kind of a love-hate. They either love it or they're just like, I'll pass.
Maybe spinach?
Spinach would be, yeah, perfect. Okay, I'm just going to kind of take a bunch at a time here and just chop it first with my knife, just so that it's not these bigger chunks. And I'm going to do this carefully because the gloves make my hands and this board a little slippery. Okay, I'll give it another chop this way. We just want kind of smaller pieces, and then we'll kind of break it down a little bit when I get to the lemon juice part. For the lemon, I'm going to use both the zest and the juice, so we'll have extra flavor. And see, I don't want such a big piece here. But this is a great kind of like lighter salad, but it has so many good things in it that it still feels pretty hearty. And you could even add like another protein in there, right? You could add chicken, maybe some seafood of some kind, maybe, I don't know, what, shrimp, salmon? Salmon would be delicious.
What would tofu do to the flavor of it?
I think tofu would be all right if you used maybe like a firm tofu, maybe not like the silken tofu that we used last week for that dessert, because that would probably crumble too much, but a firmer tofu that maybe you marinate that too and you roast it in the oven while you're roasting your cauliflower. That would be delicious.
What about a cheese? What cheese would you have?
Ooh, what do you guys think? What kind of cheese would go good? Feta. Yeah. Yeah. Feta. Maybe, let's see, what else would go? A blue cheese would be really nice in here. Who is a fan of blue cheese? Oh, yes. All right. You guys are my people. If it stinks, the better, right? The stinkier, the better. Yeah, blue cheese would be nice in here, for sure.
With the, what's it called, the mixed greens, would that work on that?
Yeah, definitely. Like if you had a nice, beautiful spring mix of, kind of red leaf lettuce, a little arugula. Okay, I have to tell you a funny arugula story that I heard. I don't know if you guys heard this. So Gwyneth Paltrow, everybody, she's always kind of like the health guru. Keep your opinions to yourselves, lady. But apparently she's now saying that arugula is a good substitute for Parmesan. And I was like, oh my God, somebody please stop her. Because that is not even in the same category. So don't believe everything you hear is the moral of the story there. What in the world? Come on. Okay. All right, we got one more batch here. Okay, this I'll show you in a second here. Wow, this is a really good bunch of. You guys were watching my glasses. I could feel them falling. Without them, I am lost, ladies. It's amazing I can read what's in front of me here. Okay. We're not going to use that. So this piece here, you see, it's still good, but it's changing a little color. So I'm not going to use some of that, but some of the end pieces are all right. I don't want to waste that. But I don't want to put that yellow in there because that's going to affect the taste. That looks pretty good. So it's a really good bunch. Okay, so let's see here. The other ingredients that we have that are green are more fresh herbs. And you all know me, I like my fresh herbs. You could use dry if you didn't want to, go to the store and add fresh herbs. But that's kind of, I think, what also makes this salad. And I will say, I think this could probably use more mint for my taste because I love fresh mint. And if you're lucky enough to have like a garden and you grow any of these herbs and you're always like, what do I use it in? This is the time, use it in a salad like this. Any fresh herb, especially things like fresh parsley, can go in anything and just really make it look nice and also taste nice. So.
I'm growing peppermint for the first time this year.
Ooh.
And I have
Yeah.
just in a big pot.
Uh-huh.
It's really pretty.
That's nice.
Easy, cheap.
Yep.
Yes, yes. Mine's peppermint.
Okay, mine
Well, it's either spearmint or
it's just green.
Have you all seen, I saw not too long ago at HEB chocolate mint.
That's great.
That is really nice, right? So we're going to add regular mint These glasses are just giving me grief today. Okay, this is just a small little package of mint, but yeah, you could use any kind of, if you had this is kind of like peppermint, right? There's something there's wild mint. What's the name for it in Spanish? Yes. Yerba buena is like basically wild mint, and it looks kind of like this. It's great. You can use it. Good mint, yeah. Good herb, good. Yeah, so if you're lucky enough to have fresh herbs, it smells, yeah, great. And if you didn't want to use all of it, you could put some of this in your iced tea. Yeah, it's great. If you have even hot tea, give it to your cats. I'm just kidding. I used to buy catnip for my cat, and it was a disaster because, you know, cats go crazy for that. And this was like the oldest, like, non-animated cat, but I was like, oh, I'll see what he does when, and that cat went to town, like ate the whole thing and then passed out. I was like, okay, no more catnip for you. Okay, just taking all the leaves off here. You could infuse, like I always say, like use the stems to infuse into stuff. Put it in a pot of rice as it's cooking. It'll pick up the flavor of that. Yeah, this salad is one of my favorites, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Make it, add different things to it. This is pretty easy. I'm just going to kind of wad it up in a little ball here and do the same thing.
How would they infuse like virgin olive oil if they wanted to put a little bit in it? But to infuse oil, what would you do to infuse your virgin olive oil?
Always such great questions. I think if you were going to infuse, if I was going to infuse an oil, I would choose kind of a lighter oil because the darker ones are going to take probably a little more to soak up the flavor, right? But garlic, maybe some stronger herbs like rosemary, thyme would be good. What else could you put in there? Right? What else would you guys think if you wanted to infuse?
I saw one that had lemon infused.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That would be great.
The garlic infused, and I always get that one.
Or some kind of chili peppers and garlic. I've seen that. One of the things, I think I have shared this with you because we were talking about whipped mashed potatoes, like the ones I used to make in restaurants. And one of the things that we would do as regular prep would be to take a whole container of peeled garlic and just coat it, like put it in a pot over the stove, just on low heat, and cover it in olive oil. And then just let those garlic cloves simmer until they turned a nice golden brown and they were nice and soft, like you would want to just eat them like that. They were sweet, but we would basically use that oil because it now was infused with the garlic, and use that in anything, dressings, just kind of to drizzle on things as garnish. But the garlic was then separated out and pureed, and then that was added into the mashed potatoes, and they were so good. So good. With some heavy cream and butter, and oh, so good. That's decadent. That's why those mashed potatoes in restaurants taste so good. Okay, so there goes the mint. I'm also going to add our parsley. This is a huge, beautiful bunch of parsley. I'm just going to use like half of it.
What kind of parsley is that?
This is the flat Italian, which I love. You could use regular curly parsley, but I always use this. I feel like it has great flavor. I will specifically use the curly parsley when I'm making things like tabbouleh salad because that's very traditional for that. I don't want to mess with that, so I stick to the basics for that. But yeah, you could use both interchangeably, but this is always my favorite. And it grows really well too. There's some bigger stems in here that I'll pull out, but most of it I'll chop and just put right in. And then we will massage the kale. But I got to get the lemon ready first. Okay. So same thing. I'll just give this a once. This morning when I made the batch that you guys are going to taste, I brought out my bigger knife because it's a wider blade and it just makes quick work of this. Because I always hate, like, okay, let's go. It's like, how long does it take to break this down? Not too long. So the next thing we're going to do, once I get this all chopped up, is our lemons. And we're going to use 2 lemons, nice sized lemons here. We're going to use both the zest and then the juice. One of the things that I like to do too, if you have some time to like really take your time making the salad, prep some of this stuff ahead of time. So what I did actually last night was I zested and juiced my lemons and put them in a little bowl, just covered them up and stuck it in the fridge. And so all of that got to kind of hang out and marinate overnight. And then I added it to the salad this morning as I made it all, put it together. And I just think it really kind of makes everything pop, right, as they say. Because that's sort of the secret. This salad would be great on its own, but what's really kind of bringing it together is the acidity from the lemon. Someone in here is not a fan of lemons. Yes, I remembered. But I'm going to make a fan out of you today because you're going to be like, wow, Raquel, you're so right about the lemons. Now, if you did not want the lemon in this, you could take it out and maybe just use some other kind of acid, apple cider vinegar, a white vinegar, just a plain white vinegar, something just to give it a little bit of acidity because I think it needs it. You know, when you're making a recipe, you have to balance it, right, with certain things. This, I would say, is probably a really nicely balanced recipe because it has kind of all the elements. It has some salty, some sweet, savory, tangy. It's got it crunchy. It's got it all. It's got it all. Okay. And now it's going to have all of this in there.
What if you use lime instead of lemon?
You could try lime. I think it would be okay. It would be a different taste, but I don't think it would be too bad.
Or orange, would that be?
I think orange would work probably a little better for my taste, but give it a try. That's how we experiment and find new things, right? Is by just giving it a try. Okay, so I'm gonna just use this little zester that I always carry around, my microplane zester, and just take off the yellow here on this lemon. These are some nice, I'm the lady in the store who's like taking forever to pick the lemons. Because I'm like, 50 cents, I'm gonna find ones that are worth the 50 cents. And then everybody's like waiting behind me. I'm like, get this lady out of here. She's taking too long to pick the lemons. So let's do a little bit more. Yeah, I think oranges would work really well in here.
What's the benefit of using like a lemon instead of lemon juice?
Aha, yes. Just the fresh flavor, I say. Because you could use just lemon juice from the bottle. I always find that that's a little more bitter. It's so much stronger, so you'd probably use a little bit less, I'd say. What do you guys think? Have you guys cooked with both or used both? Yeah, the concentrate, it's just, I remember once when I was a kid, we had some of that in the fridge and I was really thirsty. It was like summer or something. And I was like, I'm going to make myself some lemonade. I was like thinking, I'm cool, you know, starting to cook. I don't know how old I was, but I was like, I'm just going to make some lemonade. And yeah, it was so sour. I had to add so much sugar. It was more like sugar water by the end of it. But I was all proud of myself making lemonade. I should have just had lemons. Because I don't know, I mean, it's there. People use it for various things, but, you know, in a pinch, you could use it.
I would cut lemons in half, put sugar on a plate, and then just dip the lemon in the sugar. Yeah, that was like, oh my goodness, that was the best.
My mother loves to eat lemons and limes just straight raw. I don't know how she can do that. I just don't understand that.
Children love it.
Yeah, it's something about the sour.
We did it as kids when we were having Chinese candy.
Yes.
Ah, okay, maybe, I don't know. I don't remember her doing that when we were growing up, but she loves it. If I make like a roasted chicken or something and I throw a bunch of lemons in there, that I can understand because they have all the flavor now and they've been cooked. She'll eat the whole thing. She loves those. These lemons are really hard. Oh, no, that's kind of surprising.
After you were picking them for so long.
I know, right? Dang. Seriously.
Massage them also.
I probably should have, yeah, given them a good roll like you do with limes. Just don't want to like have something squeeze out into my eye. So I don't have my glasses on. Oh, goodness. Yeah, everything is getting very expensive these days, so. What else have you guys noticed when you're in your shopping, like when you do your regular weekly grocery shopping?
A lot of people.
Yeah,
Versus
the
bacon.
meat, the meat.
I don't know. So how do people feed a family?
I was thinking that, just my husband and I, I
Cause
don't know
you
if
just
that
get
family
a
of
small
five, how
thing
they
of
would
like ground meat, and it's what, 5 something?
Oh, if you can find that.
If you
Yeah.
can find that.
But
Yeah.
you notice they now sell the legs, and that's what a lot of people, I mean, when I was in the 2 days ago, I saw a whole display of the big old logs. I don't know,
Yeah,
because that's
we-
way too much,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
10 pounds there.
They're putting out,
See, $30
if you
for
want it,
roast.
you're gonna have no choice
$30
but
for
to
roast.
buy it.
My goodness.
You know, we don't need
Well,
I know.
making the case for people to have meatless Mondays, right?
Exactly.
Change it up a little bit. Okay, so as you saw, I now emptied the lemon juice and the zest, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to massage it all. And I'm basically kind of just trying to coat all our kale, all those herbs in the lemon, and, just give it kind of a good couple squeezes here till it breaks down a little bit. And you'll start to see the kale change color a little bit. It'll turn a little darker, see? But it still means it's good. Oh, a chard would be great. Yes, if you have chard, just regular rainbow chard is beautiful. That would be wonderful in this salad. And you could even use the beautiful colored stems in here. Yeah. I love chard. I don't see it enough around here. But you can grow it. That would be great. So just gonna kind of keep doing that a little bit. It's very therapeutic if you've got arthritis in your hands.
Okay, so if you use the chard,
Would you
still
have to?
use the lemon, or would
Yeah.
you use with
I mean, you could do it without, but I would use a little lemon in it for sure. Yeah.
the same amount?
Based on the quantity of everything in this recipe, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're not a fan of lemon, like my friend here,
So you did use orange that you suggested? Would it take away from the salad?
I don't think so. It would taste a little bit different, maybe a little sweeter, but I think it would still be good.
I think it'd be delicious.
Yeah. Okay, so now there we go. See, it's just a little broken down. It's still palatable because, it's got that nice texture. And then we're going to add all this back in there. Yay, in it goes. Hooray. Okay, what did I forget, ladies? Olive oil, that's right. Yes, so a little salt and pepper and just a little drizzle of olive oil. So I'm going to change my gloves. Actually, no, I don't have to. Yes, I do. Okay. It's because I had so much. You know me, I don't like to have a messy cutting board, but when you cut fresh herbs like that, they go everywhere. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna add, just to kind of round it out, just another little drizzle of oil, a pinch of salt and pepper, and then that is it. So you've got all these delicious things in there. Little pinch
I
of
have a
that.
comment to make. It has nothing to do with the salad. But
Okay.
I just thought I'd let you know.
Yes.
So last week when you made that mousse,
Uh-huh.
for that, chocolate mousse.
Uh-huh. The tofu.
Usually after every class that I do attend on Saturday, I take the sample that I get to my mom and my stepdad.
Oh, yes, I remember you saying
Last
that.
week I didn't.
That one didn't make it out of the car.
I always bring you the sample, the extra little sample. I said,
Not this
week." She
time.
said, "What?" I said, "You made-" Well, she made this
A
chocolate
little
mousse.
drizzle.
I was like, and you are not about to get it.
Wow, that's a good testimony there. I'll take it.
The whole thing had me going because I've never in my life even tasted or even knew what that was.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I love when people, yeah. That's right. Now you have the recipe and you can cook them together. I really do enjoy when you guys tell me stuff like that. You make my day, you make my year, because I mean, I've cooked with so many different ingredients and I sort of kind of sometimes take it for granted or I forget. Like sometimes this is a new thing and it's not always a win, right? Sometimes you're just like, nah, Raquel, I'm not doing that. And that's okay too. But I appreciate that everybody tries it. And when there's something where you're like, hey, I actually like that and I might actually make that, or I did make that.
And
That's a win in my
I'm
book.
gonna try it.
Yeah.
But that one salad you made that was all green and it had just the tomatoes in it, I don't.
Oh,
Oh, the pasta. Mhm.
Yes.
That
It's
was
not
good.
something that I think that honestly, I said the day of, it was good, but it's not something that I could eat out of here.
Yeah.
It stayed on my mind. I was like, I even told my stepdad, I was like, we need to try this recipe. She said, how about you cook it and we try it?
Oh.
I said, no.
We're gonna make it together. Yeah. Yeah.
But it stayed on my mind, and I was like, you know what, this is, and I even told myself, a little piece of meat,
Yeah.
that salad, and those were good to
There
go.
you go. There you
I did the
go.
cabbage steaks.
Oh, the cabbage steaks. Yeah, I forgot about those. Yeah. Boy, we've cooked a lot together, haven't we? Okay. Well, I love it. Well. Speaking of loving it, look at this. How do we not love this? Beautiful colors because of the cauliflower, right? And you got the golden raisins. The rice is in there. Good proportions. Really, this is a nice salad just kind of to have on its own. Again, you can have it cold or hot, served with a side of something, whatever you enjoy, like a roasted piece of chicken or I don't know, whatever kind of protein, really. Or as a base, like you know me, right? I always say, take this recipe, turn it into something else. This could be the base of like a grain bowl and then just add a bunch of other stuff on it. Use this as your base, meal prep it out, put it in containers, and you're good for the week. This is a great recipe to make for family meals, holidays. It's a nice kind of light one too. Like I could eat a lot of this and not be super full and kind of groggy later. So yeah, I've done this one and taken it for lunches.
Thanksgiving, instead of, my cousin always makes broccoli and rice, and I said, oh,
Okay.
and we've been bringing greens, and I think that's gonna substitute the broccoli and rice.
Yeah, it's kind of sort of it's a refresh of kind of similar flavor, but you've packed a lot of flavor in here, and you still have the grains, right? Like they're in there, they're kind of hidden, but they're in there. So you're getting the grains in there, but you're also adding a lot of greens, which is good too, and veggies.
So I'm thinking, I said, could we roast the broccoli and then still add?
Totally.
over the-
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, that is a good thing to point out. Like sometimes people, they love what they love, right? And you don't want to change it because it's like we always have this. But even if you just tweak one of the ingredients and you're like, how about this year we do this to the broccoli? It just gives it a whole different flavor, and
I'm
it's still the
already
same.
thinking of feta cheese already.
You got it.
It's different.
I feel like I've done my job here, ladies. You're picking up on all the stuff I'm teaching. It's great.
Mashed potatoes and broccoli and rice and two green beans, casserole.
Yeah. Yeah, don't get me started on green bean casserole. Please don't get me started on arugula substituting for Parmesan. That was just insane. That blew my mind this morning. I'm like, no, please, let's just stop. So anyway, so that is our salad. So I'm going to have my lovely assistant dish out the chilled version so you guys can really taste all of that. But this will be a little bit so that you folks can take some home so you can have for lunch.
Did you put shallots in there?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Pam. The shallot, the mystery ingredient, that was actually when I cooked the rice. So I just diced up some shallot, put it in the rice as it was cooking. So that also boosts some of the flavor. You could leave that out if you wanted to, or just use a little bit of regular onion. But I just felt like being fancy for this recipe because it looks kind of fancy. It looks fancy, but it's really, there's not much to it. Yeah. So.
I just found out this week that kale is very high in potassium
Yes.
and magnesium.
Magnesium, yes.
And many cancer patients run very low on magnesium and potassium and have to get prescription supplements. They need it so badly. And this is a wonderful salad for people that are going through.
There you go. Yeah, dark leafy greens are definitely superfoods. They have lots of great
Dark greens.
vitamin C. I mean, it's all in there. Like I say, people either love or hate these things, but when you do something like this, it tastes so good. You're just like, yeah, I could eat this every day. So I hope you guys feel the same way after Rosie gets some of these samples out. But yeah, this is one of, I think, I'm glad that this one made a reappearance. So enjoy the recipe, mix it up, change it up. I'd love to hear your stories. If you make it for Thanksgiving this year, please let me know. We just have a little bit on, not really nutrition, but more sort of food. I know, we're so excited about trying it. I'm not done yet, ladies. Hold on, wait. Okay, so if you guys turn around on the back of the recipe, there's just a couple things I wanted to share. We're so excited. We can't wait to try it. Let me put my glasses on finally for this. Okay, so we were talking about salads, right? This is a beautifully composed salad because of all the different elements in it. But I always like to ask people, like, why don't you eat salad? Number one question, why don't you eat salad typically?
Items not
Oh, you do?
All the time.
Okay, great. Well, if you do eat salad, what do you put in it? Like, what makes your life easier when you make a salad?
I put a lot of things in mine. Even I boil hard-boiled eggs.
Yep, one of my favorites.
Put it in a bag and just keep them. And sometimes if I'm in a hurry and I'm not going to have a meal, I'll just have my salad and I'll add cheese and some sort of nuts. I do a lot of pistachios.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And also sunflower seeds, but
Yeah.
those are good. Anything. Add some cheese, the Parmesan, the shaved Parmesan.
Actual Parmesan. Yeah.
I love that.
Fantastic.
Olives.
Yes.
Put the egg, slice an egg, tomatoes. I
Yeah.
love tomatoes.
Oh yes, Maria, thank you so much for your beautiful garden tomato that she shared with me. That went on my burger. I made burgers on Monday, and that was the most beautiful tomato. I enjoyed it. It was so good. Thank you. Yeah. So what I wanted to share was like, it is sometimes difficult for, especially if we're in a hurry or we're not feeling well, to kind of compose something fresh, right? That's always kind of the common thing that people say, I just don't have time. It takes too much time to put all this together. I mean, it took me time. I was kind of intentionally dragging this recipe out, right? But if you have some things, kind of shortcuts to pull it together even faster, then you can enjoy salad, and you should enjoy a nice salad, once or twice a week. So some of the things that you can do on this page that are mentioned are purchasing those salad kits, right? Those are quick. There's so many different varieties. Some come with the little packets of nuts and cheese and the dressing, so it makes it super easy. I usually will, again, be that lady in the store if I'm going to buy that and just look and make sure the package is good, because it could be older or soggy. And so you want to make sure it's good value for your money, and that you're going to get to it before it goes bad, right? Because since those ingredients have already been basically processed for you, cut down, chopped and already, they have a shorter shelf life. So just remember that if you're going to use that shortcut, because you don't want to waste the money.
Did you put oil in that?
I did, yeah. So I drizzled it with a little bit of oil. Thank you for the shallot, though. I did. Okay, salad kits are one. Stocking the pantry. Keep your pantry stocked with some goodies to add to your salad. So canned beans of any kind are great. Chickpeas, right, are one of my favorites. Kidney beans, roasted, you can do. Olives are wonderful. Any kind of pickles. Just great things that can be added to salads. Even tinned items, like I'm always talking about Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has marinated chickpeas that are already, they're delicious. And so I will use them. You can heat them up a little bit and put them over rice. That's kind of a quick go-to if I'm super tired. Or they also have these marinated big white beans in a tomato sauce. I'll sometimes add those over some greens and rice if I'm kind of in a pinch, I haven't had time to cook. So think about kind of keeping some of those in your pantry to just add into your salads.
Is that in a can?
It's in a can, yeah. It looks almost like a kind of like sort of a bigger, not quite like a tuna fish can. Oh, need some water. And then par-cooked grains are another thing. So par-cooked means they're partially cooked, right? So you can find this brown rice in packets at the store that's already, you just have to microwave it if you wanted it hot. But it's already kind of partially cooked, or some are already cooked fully through. So if you didn't want to mess with the part of the recipe that cooks the rice, just buy a couple of those, keep those in your pantry, and then just add this to the salad. They also have quinoa, barley, things like that are already pre-cooked. You could add that. I think I saw recently at the store, kind of like in the produce section where they have the chopped onions that are already in containers, it was quinoa that was already cooked. So yeah, there are definitely things that you can purchase to add to salads that are already kind of taking the work out for you. Any kind of canned protein, so tuna, salmon. I'm a fan of mackerel if you can find it, because it's got great omega-3, great protein also. It adds a little more oomph to your salad, right? They're pretty inexpensive, and they come in a variety of flavors too. I'm not a huge fan of like all those crazy flavors of tuna, but every once in a while, actually this week, I had like the tuna in lemon and oil kind of thing, and I was like, okay, that I will do. It was like lemon, dill, and oil, and I'm like, I'll take it. So things like that are great to have in the pantry. And then one thing when it comes to dressings, so take a look and get into the habit, obviously, of looking at the back of your, packages, because a lot of dressings have a lot of sodium and a lot of sugar. So it's always nice if you can just make your own, but there are some good ones out there. But just take a look at, ask yourself, like, do you like ones that are really creamy, like ranch dressings or Caesar dressings, things like that? Or are you kind of like more in favor of kind of lighter vinaigrettes, just oil, vinegars, things like that? But look at the nutrition labels. So take a look and make sure you're looking for dressings that have about 100 calories per serving and 4 grams or less of sugar. And then that they also use unsaturated fats like olive oil or avocado oil. So those are some pretty good tips for trying to incorporate a lot more greens and sort of veggies, but definitely when it comes to building salads. I've taken classes before, and I love when they always have kind of like these infographics that are like, start with this, the base of a salad, you need greens, right? And there's all sorts of greens. And I would even include like fresh herbs. That's also green, right? So throw in some of those. And then what else do you want to add in there? Do you want something like a bigger vegetable like cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, or whatever? This would be beautiful with roasted carrots too. I think just to give it another dimension if you didn't want to use cauliflower. Yeah, because it's sweet, right? Yeah, you could even do like roasted parsnips would be great if you wanted to change this more for like a winter Thanksgiving, because those are really nice in the winter. It's a root vegetable. Beets would be beautiful in here as well, golden or red beets. Now I'm just going to town. But yeah, so think about that as I'm always like trying to push more healthy, more veggies. Roasted Brussels sprouts would be fantastic in here. Yeah, even with all of this. Or you could even take out the kale and just use a bunch of Brussels sprouts. Very good. Yes. You guys are teaching class next month. I mean, I've done my job. My work here is done. So yeah, so that is our recipe. I don't hear a lot of talking, so I'm guessing this is a good one. Can you guys taste? Can you guys taste the mint in here? A little bit, right? Yeah. Once you kind of let it sit, because I made that early this morning. It's had some time to kind of marinate together. But I would even add for my taste like more mint. I love the flavor of that, just the freshness of it, and the smell of it as you're kind of eating all the things together. It's so good. So thank you, ladies, for coming today and for enjoying the salad. And then I will be back in July for I think 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Let me know if there's anything of interest that I have not done yet, and I'll see what I can come up with for July. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.